This is a 5-minute review of Game of Thrones Oathbreaker. Now, they did send me a copy of the game, but they're not paying me to do this review. This game is a social deduction game in which you'll split into two teams, Order and Chaos. And on top of that two-team split, 1 to 2 players will also function as the king or queen. Now, that is a very stressful role because, just like any normal social deduction game, a lot of players will be making accusations. But only the king and queen can really act on that. Periodically throughout the game, they'll be handing out decree cards that will say whether they think someone is on the side of order or chaos. They'll have little special effects thrown in too, which make the game interesting. But it's going to make a big difference when it comes to the end of the game. But we'll get to that later. The actual game itself is played by completing missions. A certain number of missions will be dealt out each round, and the players will play influence cards face down into those missions, which means that nobody knows exactly what everybody has been playing. And to make sure that's cemented in even further, the game has a very specific rule about table talk. And this is something I very much love about this game. Normally in a social deduction game, players are usually pretty free to talk however they want. They can say exactly what they've done. They can talk about the cards they've played. They can say and do anything they want, which tends to make things come out to numbers. If I say something, the only way I could have known I played that card was if I did. So with this, there's a little bit more of a restriction. You can never talk about numbers. All you can ever say is if you're helping or hurting, because sometimes you might have to hurt specific objectives. And in my game group, we quickly had to nip a little thing in the bud too, because some people started saying I'm helping a little or I'm helping a lot. Now the problem is every card you play will either just not help or be neutral, or it'll be from 1 to 3 in amounts of helping. But the problem is I'm helping a little, I'm helping, and I'm helping a lot. It kind of became too obvious very quickly, and it went against, I think, the concept of the rules. But once we got past that, it was pretty easy to talk our way around everything. On top of your loyalty, each player will also get a character board, which is based on some of the houses. For example, you might pick House Targaryen, in which case you can either play as Daenerys or flip it over and play as Jorah, who isn't part of House Targaryen, really. So that's fine though. He's a cool character. You'll also get an ambition card. And this ambition card will have a certain requirement you need to meet by the end of the game. Maybe you're greedy, maybe you're honorable, and this will be little cubes that you're trying to collect that you get for rewards at the end of missions. I found that this wasn't generally difficult. You usually got enough cubes of any type you wanted that you weren't going to fail to meet this ambition. But if you did fail to meet the ambition, you lose. Again, no one had it happen, so I don't see it being something you have to worry too much about. Any excess cubes you have, you may want to spend for the character abilities that you get. And again, each side of your character board will have different options for abilities. And I did find that they were quite interesting. Some of them let you shuffle cards around. Some of you let other players make decisions. They were very interesting. Now, on top of the cubes, missions will also grant you order points, or chaos points if you fail. And that score will be the score at the end of the game, which will help you determine whether you win or lose. Now, if you remember before, I talked about the king or queen giving out decrees. The thing is, if you get those decrees wrong, if I say somebody's good and they're bad, we are going to lose points. Or more specifically, chaos will gain points. If I get them right though, order will gain points. But when it gets to the end of the game, if the king or queen wasn't making good predictions, that can really swing the game one way or the other. And that is definitely my experience with my group. Regardless of the player count we used, the bad team, Chaos, always reigned supreme. And it wasn't even close. I don't know if that's bad balancing or whether it's just that we are very good at manipulating. There was quite a few fun scenarios where we really did trick the king or queen quite well. Regardless of all of that, everyone who played the game with me, and also myself, enjoyed it immensely. We had a lot of fun. And if this kind of game, the social deduction game, especially one where you play on teams, is something that you enjoy, I honestly can't see you not enjoying this, so I think it's worth a try. It does also help that the game is based on Game of Thrones, so you get some fun character talk, certain cards will play, and people will start quoting things, and that definitely adds a little bit more. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful.